Welcome to Drips of Consciousness. I am Christel Crawford, and you are invited to a completely different world where my epiphanies in consciousness could change everything for you.
So consciousness to me is this ever-expanding, unfolding set of possibilities. And I still have this tendency, like probably most of us, to feel like or assume that there's a there. That there's some place that we're eventually going to arrive at where life will work the way we think it should. And so I'm constantly out creating my own notion of there. But interesting point of view, I have this point of view, is a tool that from the very beginning I started to use on all the things. Because for me, having a very fixed point of view about the way something should be was a very easy place to be. I wouldn't say it created ease. I would say it was my easiest choice. And so I found as I was changing my life, and this is what happens. This is actually how I find the tools to be applicable is as you're changing your life, they become applicable. I was having coffee with a friend yesterday, and he introducing him to the concept of fixed points of view being the limitations that we can't actually see around or create around or ask around because we've already decided something is so. And he said, well, how do you go about then ferreting out all of your points of view? And I'm like, well, you actually can't do that. You could sit around all day and, look at your fixed points of view about any particular thing and you'd find billions. I was like, the way that I've done it is I just go about creating my life and then you find them. You just run smack into them. When your classes aren't growing, do you have any fixed points of view? Yes. Okay, cool. What are they? And have you decided that they're facts or are they just interesting? When you know that you'd like to have more money for living the life you'd like to have, what are the fixed points of view? Or do you have any fixed points of view? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, good. What are the fixed points of view keeping this from changing? And then the second question always, which is what can I choose? And what can I choose? And so interesting point of view. I have this point of view is this tool that I've used over and over and over and over and over to change things for myself, to create more ease in my relationships, to create more money in my life, to create more people coming to the things that I create, to create more. And the way that it goes is for every single thought and every single feeling and every single point of view and every single emotion that you have about anything ever, if you did it for 3 full days, that's one example, you be with the energy of that fixed point of view and you just be interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And if you're using the tool, if you're actually using the tool, not just saying the words, what will happen is the energy of the fixed point of view will just change. You'll be being present with it as an interesting point of view. And what interesting point of view is allowance. And allowance is where you are the rock in the stream and every single thing that just comes at you goes around you because you're the rock in the stream and you don't get washed away. The difference between allowance and acceptance is that acceptance requires one of two things. You either have to align and agree with something and accept it, or you have to resist it, which is also, it's just the flip side of the same coin, so that's also accepting the point of view. Whereas allowance is where everything's just interesting, and so it doesn't have anywhere to hook into you. That point of view, that thing, that judgment that somebody else has no hook. And so as you are using the tool, all of your points of view lose their barb, they lose their charge. And so you end up having more space to choose the point of view you'd like to take. For most of my life, I was just functioning from all of the points of view that I picked up from every single other person around me, especially my family, not knowing that I had different choices available. And the most powerful thing that I've found about the Access Consciousness tools is that they empower you to know what you know and to choose. So what use of this tool could you gift yourself today? And what choices do you actually have available that you have not yet chosen?
Thank you so much for listening to this show. My target is to make consciousness easy to find. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a 5-star review, and also share this with a friend who you know might be looking for more consciousness in their life. You can visit me on christeljoycrawford.com, and to learn more about the incredible, life-changing tools of Access Consciousness, go to accessconsciousness.com and theclearingstatement.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast.